Today we dive deep into the story of an airplane that not only shocked Malaysia but stunned the entire world. An incident that became a dark stain in the history of modern aviation, a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. We're talking about Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. News tonight: Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. MH370 disappeared on March 8, 2014, Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Like every other day, there was hustle and bustle at Kuala Lumpur Airport. Flights were arriving and departing. Among the crowd was Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 777-200ER aircraft, known as one of the safest and most reliable jets in the world. Its registration number 9M-MRO. The plane was scheduled to depart at 12:41 a.m. local time for Beijing Capital International Airport in China. Everything seemed normal. Passengers had taken their seats. Cabin crew were carrying out their duties. There were 239 people on board, 12 crew members and 227 passengers, including 5 children. The passengers were from various countries, but most were from China, 153, and Malaysia, 50. The entire crew was Malaysian. The pilot was 53-year-old Zahari Ahmad Shah, an experienced captain with over 18,000 hours of flying experience. His co-pilot was 27-year-old Fariq Abdul Hamid, who was completing his final training check on the Boeing 777. The weather was clear and flying conditions were excellent. At 12:42 a.m., the plane took off. Everything was proceeding according to schedule. Initial flight. The aircraft reached its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Communication between the cockpit and air traffic control, ATC, was normal. At 1:01 a.m., as the flight passed over the South China Sea, Malaysian ATC asked MH370 to contact the next control center in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. At 1:19 a.m., the last words were heard from the cockpit, believed to be from co-pilot Fariq Hamid. "Good night, Malaysian 370, a standard sign-off, nothing unusual. But then, something strange happened. At 1:21 a.m., as the plane entered the no man's land between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace, it vanished. The disappearance. MH370's transponder either turned off or stopped working. This device sends essential data like aircraft identity, altitude, and speed to radar systems. When the transponder went silent, MH370 disappeared from ATC's radar screens. At first, controllers thought it was a technical glitch. They repeatedly tried to contact the flight. No response. Vietnamese controllers also failed to reach them. It slowly dawned that something was seriously wrong. A massive aircraft like the Boeing 777 doesn't just vanish from radar. Where was the plane? What happened on board? Search begins as hours passed with no distress signal or sign. News of the missing flight spread globally. Malaysia Airlines confirmed that contact had been lost with MH370. Families of passengers rushed to airports, eyes filled with fear and desperation. A multinational search and rescue operation was launched. The initial search focused on the South China Sea and Gulf of Thailand, where the plane had last been tracked. Countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Singapore, the US and others deployed aircraft and ships. Everyone believed the plane must have crashed nearby. But despite intense efforts, no wreckage, oil slicks, life jackets, nothing was found. A shocking military radar discovery. After days of fruitless searching, Malaysian military radar revealed shocking new data. Unlike civilian radar, primary military radar doesn't depend on transponders. It uses reflected radio waves to detect aircraft, and had continued tracking MH370 after its transponder was turned off. At 1:21 a.m., after disappearing from civilian radar, the plane had made a sharp left turn, away from its planned route. It flew back across Malaysia, over the Malacca Strait, and then northwest toward the Andaman Sea. The military tracked the plane until around 2:22 a.m., when it finally left radar range. This changed everything. MH370 had not crashed right away. It was still flying, under control. But who changed its course and why? Satellite pings. A new clue, a new mystery. Focus shifted from the South China Sea to the Strait of Malacca and Andaman Sea. Then came another breakthrough. A British satellite communications company called Inmarsat reported that their satellite had received automatic pings from MH370 for several hours after it went missing. These handshake signals indicated the aircraft's communication system was active until 8:11 a.m., meaning the plane flew for 7.5 hours after its last radar contact. Using a complex method called burst timing offset and burst frequency offset analysis, two possible flight paths, arcs, were calculated. North Corridor, over Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, etc. South Corridor, into the deep southern Indian Ocean. The northern route would have passed over radar-heavy countries, yet none reported any sighting. So, investigators concluded that the southern route was more likely. The deep ocean search. The new search area was a vast, remote section of the southern Indian Ocean, west of Perth, Australia, one of the roughest and deepest seas on Earth. Australia led the largest and most expensive underwater search in aviation history, using advanced ships, sonar equipment, and underwater drones. They scoured the ocean floor for wreckage, and especially the black boxes, the cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and flight data recorder, FDR. Some signals were detected, but turned out to be false alarms. Months passed, then years. Still, no sign of the main wreckage. Wreckage debris, more questions than answers. In July 2015, 16 months after the disappearance, a wing flaperon, washed up on Reunion Island, near Africa's coast. It was confirmed to be part of MH370's Boeing 777. This was the first physical evidence that the plane had crashed into the sea. Over the next few years, more debris washed ashore in Mozambique, South Africa, Mauritius, Madagascar, and Tanzania, all believed to be from MH370. But these fragments raised more questions than answers. They didn't explain how or why the plane crashed. Theories and speculations. In the absence of clear evidence, numerous theories emerged. Mechanical failure. Some speculate a catastrophic system failure or fire, disabling communications. But why was the transponder manually turned off, and how did the plane turn so precisely? Pilot suicide/murder. A controversial theory suggesting that the captain or co-pilot deliberately hijacked the plane. Reports noted flight simulator data at the captain's home pointing towards Indian Ocean routes. But there's no solid evidence, and families have rejected this theory. Hijacking, possibly by terrorists or other actors. 2 Iranian passengers had fake passports, but no terror group claimed responsibility, and no motive was clear. Remote hijacking. Some speculate advanced cyber hijacking, but experts argue Boeing 777s couldn't be remotely controlled with 2014 technology. Accidental shootdown. A conspiracy theory that the plane was accidentally shot down during a military drill and the truth covered up. Again, no evidence supports this. Official investigations and final report. Malaysia formed an international investigation team. After years of data analysis, the final report was released in July 2018. It confirmed the plane made manual course changes and communications were intentionally disabled, but they could not determine who did it or why. They found failures in ATC responses, but no conclusive evidence to solve the mystery. End of the search and future hopes. The official underwater search was suspended in January 2017, a decision that deeply hurt families still seeking answers. In 2018, a private US company, Ocean Infinity, conducted another search using cutting-edge technology, but again found nothing. To this day, the main wreckage and black boxes remain missing. With evolving technology and ongoing independent analysis of satellite data and debris drift patterns, some still hope the plane might be found. An unfinished story, a living pain. The story of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 is an unfinished chapter in aviation history. It reveals the limits of modern technology and how even a massive aircraft can disappear without a trace. But more than that, it is a human story of the 239 people on board and the families and friends left behind, still living with uncertainty and grief. Until MH370's mystery is solved, it will continue to raise tough questions about aviation safety, global coordination, and the painful cost of the unknown. Friends, how did you like our documentary? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video, and please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for future updates. I will see you in the next one.